now we can move on to season 1 of Doom Patrol.
Yes.
I actually watched it out over the past few days.
Yeah.
And I'll say this for one time. I do see the appeal of it. I actually enjoy this way more
Titans.
than Titans.
Yeah.
They within the same vein, but as far as characterization, world building, and just
Yes. All right.
embracing its silliness and weirdness.
Right.
Yeah,
This
I
this
praise
does
this show
what
to high heaven. But
yeah, this does what Legends should have done, which is it has a grab bag of ideas, but almost all of it has a purpose and makes sense. No matter how silly or ridiculous they went, it comes back and makes sense. It's like, oh, that's what this mean, and that's what that thing, and that had a purpose here, and okay, this is why they're doing that. So they boil it back down to the relatable and the plausible. Well, what I mean by plausible, well, within the domain of the logic. It didn't
yes,
feel like
yes,
just
yes.
arbitrary. Nothing felt arbitrary. Ultimately, it started off, oh, this real silly and crazy boy, and then, oh, that makes sense. Everything makes sense.
Yeah. Like oddly enough, like as weird as things went with the show, it just
Right.
kind of ends up
They,
making sense.
but they keep bringing it back. They keep
Yeah,
bringing it back to what it should be, what the focus is. And everybody has a good arc. Everyone.
yeah, totally agree. But
Yeah.
before we get to like arcs and stuff that we like overall, what is Doom Patrol about in a nutshell?
Right. Patrol is just again, it's basically, well, the idea is it's basically DC's X-Men in a sense, kind of, right? This kind of weird family that hudged themselves together by accident, well, quote unquote accident, and they just kind of come together and they're be helped out by a guy called the Chief. Well, the Chief, I forget his actual name. It's slipping my mind right now.
Niles Calder.
Niles Colin, right? And
Who's
he
by
kind
the way
of
played by Timothy Dalton.
Dalton, right?
The one of the most underrated James Bond actors ever.
Yeah, so he just kind of get together these people, all these things bad happen to them, and he have to suss them out. And there's well, we find out what brings them together and how they get together. And it's not entirely an accident, and yeah, they kind of nail like you know the idea of mistakes in the world and what it is, why it is you should accept or shouldn't accept life as it is, and if you had a chance to do it all over, would you? They get into all of that, and it does
Yes.
a lot of personal stuff about self and accepting yourself for who you are and whatnot, and that's what the again the kind of straightforward subtext of it is.
Yes,
But what
yes.
makes this work is everybody bounces off each other so well.
Yes,
Um,
yes. The
Everybody has good
chemistry
chemistry.
between
Yeah,
the actors who, well, in the show in general, but as far as the Doom Patrol characters go,
yeah,
that would be, well, McGill Diane Guerrero from Orange is the New Black. She
right.
plays Jean actually, and she has like
It's
multiple
genius.
personalities. Brendan Fraser, like
Yeah,
you said, I remember how great he was, but like I didn't expect the what he put into this too, because for one thing,
yeah,
he always have this kind of weird, kind of slightly cartoonish voice, but having him
right.
play Robot Man,
Robot
right,
man.
and just
Yeah,
designing
excellent.
the head, being so monkey like that, like when he's there
Yeah,
talking through this robotic head now, it's kind of
yeah,
funny, but at the same time it's just kind of endearing and sad, kind of like a Phantom of the Opera kind of thing. Although it was
right.
kind of funny hearing him cussing like what the fuck, the fuck,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's funny, but it hides a lot of sadness in it too. So
yeah,
yeah, you might laugh at what he says and his voice or whatnot, but it hides a lot of pain, a lot of sadness too. Same thing
yeah,
goes for Diane. What I mean, she doesn't have a filter when it comes to what she says. She curses a lot, but
yeah.
yeah, it does really hide the darkness inside of her because apart from all these personalities that inside of her is the shit that she went through, all these like
Yeah,
really torturous medical experiments and stuff that she went through in the past, and people not trusting her, and just a bunch of this dark shit now.
yeah,
I thought this guy, well, who plays Negative Man or Larry
yeah,
Trainer, right, Matt Bowman, I thought that his character arc was really endearing as well because
yeah,
like at first you're telling yourself, oh, he's just a pilot in the early '60s who went out into
yeah,
space, and then this sort of like anomaly, a space anomaly as you call it, went inside of him now. So it's him. He doesn't age, right? Even though he has
right,
like this sort of invisible man thing going on with the gauze over his face and the glasses and
right,
whatnot, right? But you learn later on that he was gay now. Well, he is gay,
right.
sorry. and he was hiding this relationship with one of his peers, from his wife and kids, and they always
Right.
touch back on that, but it's never to
Right.
this unbearable way, like, okay, we gay, he gay, okay, right? But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
a point
Yeah.
where it's like even he himself can't accept who he is, and when there were moments where he could have just embraced who he was, but especially when he was around his boyfriend, was just like, no, I can't do that because of society, and not
Right.
just of society, but because of himself
Because
and
when
how he felt now, So that was a really
yeah, so
strong arc, and the way how they
time
ended off though was really really powerful though, really powerful.
right, exactly. The time period in which they handle the whole situation, and that's why it
Yes,
works. It's the context of it and whatnot. No? And yeah, they
exactly.
make all of
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you're right, right. Another favorite character of mine was Rita Farr, right?
yeah,
Elasti-woman, as you call it in the comics, right?
yeah,
I thought that the actress who played her, she played her excellently, in my opinion. She got the whole 50s talk down,
yeah.
if you look at like
The,
50s
the
Hollywood movies,
transatlantic, yeah, that
yeah, that,
transatlantic
that,
act,
that kind of talk, that kind of, oh gosh, I forget, that Catherine Hepburn kind of, you
yeah, the
know,
transatlantic
twang,
act,
in her voice. I
yeah,
thought that was great. And just her power itself, though, or I don't even want to call it a disability. You know what I mean? It's just so strange, but at the same time, it's like you pity her. You know what I mean? Like, yes, she's attractive
yeah,
on the outside, but yeah, when she gets tense emotionally, her skin literally melts. And it becomes
yes,
this
very right,
blob.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I just kind of sad to watch her, like her having to deal with this, and also her not aging, and then people kind of look at her like, yeah, you're a washed up actress. You know what I mean? Blah blah blah, right?
yeah,
Um, I did not expect to like Cyborg that much though, and not just
yeah,
because he's black or whatnot, but the arc that they gave him was really strong as well. His father, who at times I was thinking, from Justice League the movie, right? The actor who plays him, if you remember from Terminator 2, he have that same kind of look, the same kind of old look. Like I know it's not the actor himself, but he did remind me of
yeah.
the guy who
Man,
plays
like,
Santos.
idea,
Yeah, from the Justice League movie. Now, they have similar looks, right? But there's the idea that he blames himself for the death of his mom.
yeah,
Same kind of accident that forces dad to put all these cybernetic limbs in him, and now he learning later on that some of the stuff, all the memories that he had were fabricated and whatnot. He father hold him, not just holding back his powers, but holding back certain things about his life. You know what I mean? And him not
yeah,
trusting himself and whatnot. Him feeling more of a machine than a man. Yeah, that was really endearing. You know what I mean? I love just the performance that the guy gave to it. I thought it was, yeah, it worked. You know what I mean? It really worked. Um, but yes, and of course Timothy Dalton, he's always great. He always
yeah,
has this dignified British way about him, even though at times it's like kind of self-centered and untrustworthy. Later on when
right.
they kind of realize the real purpose of Doom Patrol. But to me, though, the icing on the cake, though, scene stealer was Alan Tudyk, boy, who plays Mr.
Yeah,
Nobody. Every
yeah,
time that man was on screen, and even when he's not
uh,
on screen, he's like the unofficial narrator of this boy, and
yeah.
he breaks the
They do this
fourth
really cool
wall
meta
so
thing.
many times, but he does it so excellently. Like I love, I'm not gonna say where it happens, where he says basically, yes, and finally we're gonna get the show, after all these episodes of
Right.
navel gazing,
And they have
and
been
this now we're gonna get the superhero show you've been
and they have
waiting
been
for.
DC paraphernalia stuff, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
and I mentioned he mentioned Grant Morrison fans and
Yeah,
DC fans on Reddit are like,
yeah,
yes, this is what superhero shows need, Jen. Just
yeah.
a character to come and say, at the end of the day, guys, this is just a comic book, Jen. This is from comic
Well,
books.
the thing is,
Don't
the
take
thing
it
is,
too seriously, though. Right?
the thing is, they do okay. So one of the, I don't know if it's Doom Patrol per se, but it have a character called Animal Man, and Animal Man have
I
this
remember the comic for that. Remember the
right.
comic?
It have this insane, like ridiculously insane meta comic that they do. I think it's a Grant Morrison run. I think so. And that's why I thought they were kind of going with this. And they kind of hint at it, but then they didn't really do it. They didn't really go full with it, which is the whole white space stuff now. And I
Oh,
thought
okay,
that's
okay. Yeah,
I
but
thought
I
that's
love the
really
idea of the white space thing, the idea that
yeah.
there's a dimension in this comic, right? Oh, and
And
by the
they
way,
bring it up.
and they bring in some really really interesting
Mantel,
characters though, like
Mantel,
like who?
Mantel, is the strong man now.
Yes,
Muscle
Strawman, Flex,
Flex Mantel, yeah.
yeah, Flex Mantel, um, like like okay, so for me, I didn't know anything about these characters, any of these characters at all, with the exception
Right.
of Cyborg. I know who Cyborg is, right? But when I saw that Flex guy, I was like, this is kind of a caricature or kind of a parody, if you will, of just 50s comic book isms, you know.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
like how they kind of touch on, you know, like if you remember from like 50s or 70s comic books, you always have that ad with, you know, you wanna gain
yeah.
pounds, you know what I mean? So it's like that. So I like how they play that off. Like, yes, we are self-aware that these are comic book characters. What I love with the show in general is how they flip that and be like, all right, we're gonna add some modern sensibilities to them, you know. Not
Right.
just in terms of sexuality and whatnot, but you know, how would they exist in our world? How would they
Yeah.
look at life? You know, and I thought that they
Yeah.
did his
But that,
character great as well.
actually, a lot of this remind me of, remember that episode of Justice League where they went back, they went to the other dimension with the old version of the Justice League, the JSA. It's that. That's
Right,
what this
right.
whole show does. It's that subversion of those ideas and tropes, and that's why the show works so well now, because it just, again, it starts off really goofy and silly, then they just flip it back and make it work. It's like, all right, what is really about and what they're trying to say,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's, yeah, they're getting a good job with that.
One speaking of that, the episode where you see the old or you see the original Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
I thought,
right.
yeah, that was like,
Yeah,
jeez, boy,
yeah,
wow,
real
you know what I mean?
dark. Yeah,
But they play it off at first like, yeah, this is 50 superheroes, you know, that kind of stuff. They'll fight against the corny bad guy, you know, the villain of the week. But how they end that act, especially with when
yeah,
you realize
super
where
dark.
they are right now in their life,
Yeah,
dark, but
yeah,
really sad though, in my opinion. But yeah, this show has a lot of weird shit in it, but good weird
yeah,
shit though. Case in point, this guy who like
yeah,
hunts people down by
yeah,
eating
yeah.
bits of the beard and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like what? It's so
You
unique.
know,
It's so incredible though. It's like yeah, I could see this being in a comic book, like being in a
right.
DC comic book, like
I
back
have
in
a
the
lot of, it have a lot
50s or
of weird,
60s.
it have a lot of great humor as well. It corny humor, but in daring, and it's play it off really funny. So it's like these really silly moments that really play itself off quite well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the part where Flex makes a mistake, where Flex
Ah,
uses the
yes,
wrong
I remember
what
that.
happened,
Yeah, you use the wrong flex and
right.
or something like that.
This,
Um,
this
but there's a few more things I just want to mention before we get to Return, right?
yeah,
But along with weird stuff, we have like a talking cockroach. We
right,
have a
right.
rat, destined for revenge. You're not gonna see what happened.
Yeah.
But they had me at the sentient street though, Danny the
Yeah, great.
street. They
Yeah,
had me
that
at that though, and what they spin out of that, the story that they spin from it, well, it relates to Larry's arc.
right.
At first, it was a little on the nose because like, okay, well, we kind of talking about well, basically the villains being this bureau basically, right?
Bureau of
And
normalcy. Yeah. The Bureau of normalcy.
yeah, the bureau of normalcy and basically like anything that's just not normal, right? Whether it's people with metas, right, or
Right.
people who are this type of sexuality, who are this type of gender and whatnot. They would
Right.
just basically kind of hunt them down and carry them into the underground layers or whatnot and
Yeah.
yeah, torture them basically, right? So yeah, they're the bad guys. But that one particular though episode with the street though was a little on the nose where it's like, well, okay, we're doing this.
Well,
You have
it
the people
it
that's
it had
against
a
that,
sequence.
so
They had a sequence that went on a little too long, and but it came back. It came back well. What they did with it, now. But I
ah yes, I
find
know you're talking about. It's a
right,
musical sequence. Went
right.
on for too
It
long,
was
but the way how it ends, I was like, yeah,
right,
I,
right.
I I feel
That's
that. I feel
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah. Not what I expected though. See, given the character that was involved, I
right.
was like, I get it because it is
Yeah,
what the character would have done anyway, right? Couple more things, but yeah, the show goes for weird, but it always have like this level of self-awareness that so even
right.
when there is weird shit, and it's never too pretentious, it's never like head up your own ass, it's enough for you to be like, yeah, this is weird, but I like this. And I realized that this is like a trend now with like certain edgy superhero shows. So like you had Legion,
Right.
and you have Umbrella Academy, both of which I would say just like with Doom Patrol, always kind of embraces the absurd and the weird with
Yeah.
just characters with real personalities. You know what I mean? Like people who really go into struggles and whatnot, right? I thought that the music was great as well. Clint Mansell, you know, who did scores, for stuff like, Drive and, stuff like that. You know, I love the kind of 80s synth music that he does
Yeah.
here. The theme song and all still stuck in my head. Like the theme song, I love the theme song. It's still stuck in my head. It's just so moody and dark, but it just sums up the whole show for me. But they
Yeah.
are like really bright moments, really colorful musical moments, really light-hearted stuff. But they also go for dark at the same time as well. And also speaking of light and dark, this show is like very well made or very well shot, very
Yeah,
well
yeah.
edited. The cinematography is like
Yeah, and it
superb,
looks just
superb.
as good as Titans in my opinion. How how everything is shot. It's a good balance. How you
Yeah,
balance it dark with the thing you don't feel you're not gritty, grim dark like Zack Snyder stuff, but it's not as light as the CW stuff. It's a slightly darker, edgier version of the CW material.
yeah,
Um,
you're right.
right. That's pretty much where
Um,
they decided it is.
yeah, and
Riverdale.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, shows like Riverdale and well, to
so,
extent, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and stuff like that.
right. Right.
Um, I will say though, it's not a perfect show. If I have just a couple of teeny tiny gripes,
Yeah. Right.
one,
Good.
when they go for dramatic, they really go for dramatic, but it could kind of slow the story down at certain points with each episode. Like there's always like some downtime and there's always some emotional stuff going on, which is kind of funny because I like how Mr. Nobody touching it there, all this navel gaze and stuff. It works as far as developing the character and just showing how arrogant they could be. It's not like they're gonna change overnight. They have to learn things the hard way, right? They're not gonna
Yeah.
just ultimately change during the course of an episode. Things will happen and then they'll go back to where they were before, doubting themselves. Then they'll come back again because of something else or some decision they have to make. But oftentimes it's like, all right, we know you're struggling, we know you're suffering. Okay, pick it up. Come on. All right, we do this again. All right. And yes, they're
Right.
well acted and stuff like that, but at times it could feel a little repetitive and just kind of
Right.
slow, in my opinion. And second gripe though, this little minor, while I did really enjoy the finale and just how like my friend was telling me about how this episode was like the weirdest thing you ever see in life. Not really,
Yeah.
but there is a few moments where I was like, all right, now I see why you find that it's like the weirdest thing in life. But because of this whole blend of absurdity and real life stuff, that it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I do personally think that they kind of rushed the finale a little bit. I
All
find
right.
that
A little bit.
like
Because
either
I
like
find
at first I was telling myself that they were going to lead into the next season, like what they do with Titans and Umbrella Academy and
right.
Legion, but they just kind of stop it at a point like, okay, we have to end. So yes, this is the end. Let's just rush everything. And I felt that was like a letdown because given the ride, the crazy ride that we got, they could have just kind of paced things out. And I mean, the episode's like what 55 minutes long. Like you could have given
Right.
a little bit more time or space on the time a little bit more, so you at least really give us a knockout of a climax, basically.
Right.
But they just
Yeah.
kind of rush things. It's just like, all right, that's the end. And they give me a nice
Yeah.
little Cypress Hill song, which to me came out of nowhere, but I was bumping my head. But I was like, all right, okay, this is the end. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
I was yeah I was disappointed with the finale itself. Not too disappointed, but I thought they would have folded to we find out why um the chief was doing what he was doing now, and I thought they
Yes,
would have
yes, yes.
folded up a little better. Um, with the whole cave woman thing now. So thought they would have they give us a payoff for that, but we didn't really get that. So that's about it. I
Yes.
really don't know if they're gonna go forward with this because it's such a weird show. Like, well, up next the DC series is Swamp Thing,
Yeah,
so
which I
it's more
still haven't
Marvel
watched the
stuff.
trailer for, but given what we gained so far with Titans and Doom Patrol,
Yeah,
yeah, I have faith in Swamp Thing.
yeah, I can't be mad at I can't be
Once
mad.
they have the solid writers, solid writing,
Yeah,
cinematography, directing, and acting, yeah, well, the DC, streaming service clearly have gold in their hands right now. They're really
right.
doing something really great here with these shows so far.
And yeah, and as I said, because it's because Marvel and Netflix and Marvel, sorry, not Marvel and Netflix, Marvel and their Disney streaming service as well seem to be something like this. So hopefully, it's a similar format and it's similar level of care. And when we know how they could do such a good job with their movies, so that should be so good. But this now, I want to see these people or this tone go forward with the DCEU if we're gonna get movies going forward. Have this approach and this style, like this is it. Like,
Yeah, that would be great. Like, not everything has to be all, big explosions or whatnot. You know what I mean?
right,
You can have your dramatic moments. This is what
right,
Endgame to an extent did, right? So
right.
DC could do that.
But no,
DC?
they nail, but because I thought they nail because DC nailed Shazam in my opinion. Uh,
Yes, yes.
we could get something like this where you understand the material. You don't have to go all dumb and grimdark like Zack Snyder. Again, I still didn't completely hate Zack Snyder's approach. It's just he fuck up his own thing, right? Whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's what we do. That's what we do.
yeah, but he had a good thing going. So it's to take that and learn to pivot from it, and hopefully we'll get. This is what he had to do. This is the approach he had to take to this stuff. Yeah, Doom Patrol for me was like I give it a pretty high score, like an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this a lot. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
Same here, same here.
It started off strong, but I thought it would peter out. It never really slowed down or peter out. It just was doing its thing. It told its story. The finale was a little disappointing, but I still didn't hate it for what it was. It was fine. So that was
Yeah.
about it.
For me, I give this a decent, strong 4 to 5. I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did. People who felt that Titans was just a little too edgelord, even though it wasn't, or a little too
Nah.
dark for the sake of being dark, even though it wasn't, will be pleasantly surprised by this one. Even though I would say if you're expecting like tons of action stuff like that, like the CW stuff, you will be disappointed by this. This is character pieces basically, but they all
Yeah.
done in this really weird, creative, and just unique. Well, it's such a great way as far as subverting comic books and just the idea of comic book heroes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this was a strong season. Really can't wait to see what they do next. And yeah, boy, like I said, the DC streaming service is onto something here. They have goal with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really can't wait to see what they do, not just with season 2 of Doom Patrol, but Swamp Thing. If they're gonna go with the whole pseudo realistic but pseudo absurd approach to things, then but add something a little bit different, of course, because I honestly don't really know much about Swamp Thing anyway, but I do hope that the season, this series basically make a believer out of it. Like, yeah, I could roll with this, right? But yeah, they're onto something here. I do agree with you. Is if only they could apply it to the movies, I think they could. But I don't know, they just had to have like a really solid plan. But other than that, Doom Patrol is the real deal if you're just looking for something a little bit different. Not too groundbreaking, not too out there, but just something different, that just
Yeah.
entertaining throughout. Yeah, give this one a look.